Hello everyone. Well, not much new here. I went out today, had a nice day shopping, just a few soap and milk at the grocery store, and I fell on the floor. Nothing broke, nothing, just my ego. A man was walking. He wouldn't look at me, so I had to bypass him on the corner, and I put a foot on the road and I went flying, just flying, and fell on the road. He went off. Older man, middle-aged, and then a young guy, nice young fellow was there. "Oh, ma'am," he said, "are you hurt?" "No," I said, "I'm all right, thank you." I said, "Thank God nothing is broken." I said, je suis heureux parce que rien est brisé, pas brisé ma jambe ou ma bras. I said, "I'm happy because I haven't broken my leg or my arm." I said, and then I said, "Some people just walk by, they don't even look at you." And he said, "Yeah." I said, quelques gens, just pas de mouvement. So now I have to be more careful. Watch out for the men that aren't going to look at you or move for you when you're both on the corner of a street. So that's what it is. So here I'm going to read from my book, a reading from my book. Being there, lessons from the garden. All you need is deep within you, waiting to unfold and reveal itself. All you have to do is be still and take time to seek for what is within, and you will surely find it. Eileen Caddy. 30 years ago, Eileen and Peter Caddy, their 3 sons, and their friend Dorothy McLean followed an inner spiritual directive to move to an area on the northernmost coast of Scotland. There, beside a garbage dump bordered by sand dunes, they created a garden, following only spiritual guidance. Through prayer and meditation, Eileen and Dorothy contacted the spiritual essence, or deva, of every plant species, which Dorothy described as angels, great beings whose life infuse and create all of nature. Each plant imparted spiritual direction of what it needed to flourish despite the wretched circumstances. Within a few years, the Findhorn community, as their settlement was known, became internationally famous for growing an abundance of large plants, vegetables, fruits, and herbs in the worst possible conditions, a spiritual manifestation of an oasis in the center of a wasteland. Expect your every need to be met. Expect the answer to every problem. Expect abundance on every level. Expect to grow spiritually, Eileen Caddy tells me as I turn over the earth. Sow, weed, water, and wait. These are the lessons she learned in her garden, lessons I long to learn. Study the cycles of Mother Nature, the garden whispers, for they correspond with the cycle of your soul's growth. Quiet your mind. Rope in the restlessness. Be here. Learn to labor. Learn to wait. Learn to wait expectantly. Another important lesson the garden teaches is sowing and reaping, as well as seed time and harvest. Whatever you sow, you will reap. If I plant lettuce, I will not harvest tomatoes. If I sow only positive seeds in my subconscious, thoughts of plenty and not of lack, abundance will sprout in the garden. As for seed time and harvest, be forewarned. The spiritual time continuum is not the same as time experienced on the earthly plane. A year for us is a second in the spiritual dimension. This explains why an artist who has toiled for 20 years suddenly becomes an overnight success. I have learned this the hard way, by sowing and waiting, then waiting some more. This doesn't mean that the seeds have fallen on stony ground. I refuse to believe this, for I have worked the soil, dug the double ditch, added the compost, peat, sand, and lime. The soil is rich. Some crops, raspberries, asparagus, grapes, require an investment of years before there is a harvest. If my harvest is to be a simply abundant lifestyle, rooted not in the world but in spirit, I must be patient. You are not living by human laws but by divine laws, Eileen Caddy reminds us. Expect miracles and see them take place. Hold ever before you the thought of prosperity and abundance, and know that doing so sets in motion forces that will bring it into being. Joyful Simplicities for June. Take a trip down memory lane by catching lightning bugs or fireflies on the lawn at twilight. Prepare an old-fashioned hotel for them in a clean mayonnaise jars with holes punched in the lid and layered with grass. Remember? Be sure to let them fly away home after a brief visit. Enjoy a frosty pitcher of lemonade and conversation when you come home from work. While the frozen variety is fine for most days, why not treat yourself to an old-fashioned nectar made from fresh lemons and sugar syrup? Here's how. Boil 2 cups of granulated sugar and 1 cup of water with the rinds of 3 lemons cut into thin strips for 5 minutes. Let the syrup cool and add the juice of 8 lemons. Strain and store in a covered container in the refrigerator. Use 2 tablespoons of the syrup for every glass of ice or carbonated water to make lemonade. Be on the lookout for a strawberry festival, or hold your own. The Victorians called these homegrown events strawberry regales, and the menu included every strawberry confection imaginable. Turn this into a potluck dessert party and invite friends to bring their favorite strawberry sensation. Indulge. Remember that ice cream is good for the soul. Freeze a homemade batch. Treat yourself to a cone for lunch. Make friends with the Good Humor Man. One June weekend, buy a whole watermelon and keep it in the refrigerator for at least a day so that it gets ice cold. Cut it in large pieces and sit on the porch, back deck, or front stoop, eating watermelon with family or friends, spitting out the seeds. Have a contest to see who can shoot the farthest. Hang a hammock, lie in it. Celebrate the summer solstice on June 21 by camping out in the backyard. Pitch a tent, bring out the sleeping bags, build a campfire in the grill. Serve hot dogs and s'mores for dessert. Remember s'mores? Take 2 graham crackers and sandwich a thin chocolate bar with a toasted marshmallow. Eat one. Eat some more. Tell ghost stories, then sleep in the moonlight. Hold the great party on Midsummer's Night Eve, June 23rd, like Tasha Tudor's Stillwater sect. If you are a fan of Tasha Tudor, and who isn't, her art, cards, and books can be found at www. Treat your authentic self to the most fetching straw hat you can find. Paint your toenails red. You might not be able to create a real secret garden, but a secret spot in which to sit can be yours by building a teepee in the backyard with a wooden stake and string, then planting scarlet runner beans, morning glories, or sweet peas. When the vines appear, guide them up the strings. Retreat to your teepee frequently to contemplate the meaning of life. Everyone needs a refuge where there's no phone and no fax. Even if you're convinced that you can't have a garden because there's no space, Malcolm Hillier's marvelous Book of Container Gardening will inspire you to get in there with a spade and a pot. It's filled with fabulous suggestions and instructions for planting window boxes, barrels, tubs, urns and baskets, and much more. A sensational idea for spring bulbs is to grow 2 different types of tulips layered in one pot for a dazzling display of indoor beauty. Plant rosemary for remembrance, and while you're at it, a little lavender, sage, and thyme. Emily Tully's enchanting series of books about herbs, written with Chris Mead, will inspire you to become your own herbalist. Herbs, gardens, decorations, and recipes will start you off in the right direction. Cooking with Herbs, Gifts from the Herb Garden, and the Herbal Pantry all provide delightful suggestions for what to do with the herbs after you've cultivated and harvested them. Lovely July, with the evocative murmur of honeybees on the wing and the smell of suntan cream. Cynthia Wickham. Sultry, steaming, sweltering July. Slow down or stop. It's time to shed ambition and expectation, along with commutes, clothing, cellular phones, calendars. Now our wants seem to diminish. Is it because our needs are met? A shady nook, a cold drink, a cool breeze, whether indoors or out, a respite from the rigors of the day, time off for good behavior. Summer is not so much a season as a melody, that tune of contentment we hum as the days begin to beautifully blur. The pursuit of happiness becomes our personal priority this month, as the sweet strains of the fourth simple abundance principle, harmony, start to be heard in our hearts. So that's my reading. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day. Bye.